Alright, apologize for the fan in the background. It's hot, so there's going to be a fan going. This is the newest critter on the bench. Working on it for a buddy. I never seen one of these before. Apparently it's a Mac 130. He says it fires but it won't run, so let's see what's going on with it. I checked fuel tank. Fuel's empty, so I'm going to put a little bit in there. After that, we'll see what it'll do. You can have a little bit more. Does not appear that there's a primer on here. It's fairly interesting. That's how you remove the side cover. A big wad of bubble gum or something stuck to the side of here. While I'm looking at stuff to give it an initial diagnosis, I'll usually pull whatever I can off of it, just to look at wear parts while I'm taking into account everything else. Just gotta push this back in the frame. And my bench is terrible dirty, so just ignore that or talk crap about it. I don't care. Plan on cleaning it this weekend. Labor Day coming up. Got a 3-day weekend. Interesting clutch. Sprocket's got some wear, but not a whole lot. Well, it looks like we're leaking fuel. Yes, leaking fuel from somewhere. I know I did not spill that much, so I can only imagine it's a fuel line from the carb. Whatever, let's try and get it to run. Choke. Throttle lock. Take it off the choke. Don't think anything's happening. So that might not have been completely accurate information I got, or they might have just spilled enough in there that it actually fired. Try pulling the plug now. See if any fuel made it in there. There's a 5/8 plug. 5/8 half-inch. But it's not wanting to fit in there. Oh boy. I may have to get one of my good plug sockets from work. I need to buy a cheap set for the house. Bet I got a spark plug. Oh, there's a cheap spark plug in here. There's your cheap spark tester. hard to see, but it does have spark. It's got spark, compression. Now we're searching for fuel and air. So, I think it's supposed to have a little bit more than that for an air filter. I mean, I'm no expert, but it appears that there was some sort of cloth on there at one time, or that may just they may just be like that. I don't know. And it looks like it's going to be a pain to get to the carburetor on here. Looks like you pull the engine to access the carburetor. Could be wrong, but I'm not seeing a seam in this cover. There's no seam there, and this hole is too small for the carburetor to come out of, so it's got to exit that way. So let's pull a few more screws. This may just be a takedown video, and there may be fasteners behind here that I don't know about, but it looks like this cover comes off next. Starter's got to come off as well. Well, I can see that the oil line's got a... Is it an oil line or a fuel line? If that's an oil line, which I'm guessing it is, because it leads up to the bar plate or bar mount, whatever you want to call it, there's a hole in there. So that's got to be replaced. Never seen one of these before, so I'm taking a good look at everything before I go to yanking stuff apart. Best I can tell, this tank comes out. Oops. That is interesting. That little rubber piece is going to be important. That feeds your oil. This feeds your fuel. That's odd. Fuel feeds through there. Throttle linkage pop out of here. Big magnet on the flywheel. Giving me grief. Linkage is free. I see a bolt here. The one there is missing. That's not holding anything in. And I bet these two bolts hold the cylinder in, or the motor in place as well. That's weird. That one's strange. Never seen that before. That may not be an oil pump. What is that? Okay, that is a pump. Well, let's break out some sockets. Too much here. Interested to see what's in this carburetor, if it looks clean or not. And I'm going to forget where all these bolts go. And it's going to take me forever to get it back together. Yeah, it does look like those went into cylinder. Those also have a spacer behind them. Don't want to lose that. And I think that's the only bolt left, but I need to get the choke lever off the carburetor first. I have a wrench. This 10 mil wrench. Yeah, maybe if my work area was cleaner, I'd know where some of my tools were at. An 8 mil wrench. The guy that has this has a tree business. And personally, I think old equipment, you shouldn't really run it unless you know how to work on it, or if it's still got a ton of parts available. I don't even know where you get McCulloch parts other than eBay and maybe Parts Tree. He's got a Dolmar that's the same way. and I don't know, I'll just probably have to talk with him about it, like, hey, it's, you know, this is a toy, not a tool anymore. At least that's the way I look at it. You don't want to be in a 50-foot lift and have an ignition module start acting up on you, or have a saw develop an air leak and then now the chain won't spin and you're in a lift basket or in a tree. Their chain won't stop spinning. It can be a safety issue. You know, not that I'm the biggest, most safe person out there, but a chain that won't stop spinning while you're trying to maneuver around in a tree is not really something that I'd want to deal with. Got two 193 steels and pieces that probably be better suited for what he's doing. Got to pull this cover and then probably come out. Now, if you do not remember where you put stuff, I'll sit there and have a toothpick or you know, just anything long and thin. I'll stick it in that hole and kind of mark it, and then find the bolt that matches the hole depth. That way I'm not running one through there and poking a hole in the back side of something that ain't supposed to have a hole in it. But if you're the kind of person that forgets where stuff goes, which I can be, I typically got a lot of stuff tore apart at one time because it's got stuff tore apart at my house and at work. Certain bolts you can, you know, thread back into the hole you took it out of. That's not gonna, it's not gonna be in the way when you do that. Alright, does it pop out? Nope, something else hung up. Something else is hung up. Maybe not. Ain't no other places for a bolt to be hiding. Oh, that's what's hanging me up. little rubber ring around the carburetor. Worried this plug is not going to clear. I might be able to get it with the big socket now. Why's it gotta give me grief? There. That's set. Now I gotta find a ratchet or impact adapter. Nope, swing and a miss. Hold on. Found it. Be interested if they actually use that plug, because that looks like a Briggs & Stratton lawnmower plug. Does not look like this for a chainsaw. I'll look it up. I would bet money it does not use that plug, but I could totally be wrong. It's got a machine flat surface for a gasket type spark plug and everything. Maybe this needs to come more over. What am I getting hung up on? It's not the carburetor. Okay, I think my fuel inlet has to be pried loose. Be careful with it, because I don't know if I can get a new one. Does this thing have a tab on the back of it? Sure does. Sure does. Alright, there's a tab on the back of here. So in order to, this isn't the kind of tab that you can press in either. So you're just going to have to be rough with it. Hope it don't break. Nope. That did not do it. Oh man. Let's use one of the fancy screwdrivers. Catch it under here. Let it push through. Looks like it tried. That's aggravating. I'm going to break those because those are really nice tuning screwdrivers. But, yes, it's not going to clear any of that. Nothing under the handle. There ain't no more room to hide anything under the handle. Let me go get my big screwdriver. Ooh, and I got metal shavings all in my hand now. Okay, big screwdriver. Hope I don't destroy this O-ring or this plastic piece. That got it. Pry it up under it and twist it. Come out. Oh wow. Spark plug wire. Not want to yank that one out of there. Alright, fuel line, it's pretty chewed up. It actually ain't in too bad a shape. But it's just that you can't get parts for it. That is aggravating as a mechanic, is having something that you can't find parts for. I understand if it's a project, but if this fails, it's coming straight back to me and say, please fix it. That looks, at least looks good. Probably clean this up, figure out which numbers on the carb are relevant. Zama Hong Kong. That's probably not the relevant numbers we're looking for. M7 1ZP. Let me thread this plug back in here, even though I'm fairly certain it's wrong. I think someone threw a Briggs & Stratton lawnmower plug in there. It just does not look right to me. Oh man, the carburetor is also your spacer for your ignition coil, which has no gap on it. That's cool. But the part of the carburetor we're concerning ourselves with is up here. So maybe the carb can be serviced on the saw. Let me put down a sheet of paper at least. Something clean, set the carb parts on. My bench is filthy. Nope, can't get to that bottom screw, so it does have to come off. man, this is ridiculous. You know, there's stuff I complain about working on, but in today's world, if you brought this in and said, hey, I need carburetor replaced, I need a carburetor rebuilt, I've been fooling with this for over 30 minutes now, just to get the carburetor off. So it's probably going to be another 30 minutes getting it back on, and then whatever you charge, well, I mean, whatever the shop rate charges per hour, I mean, that's anywhere from shop rates are all over the place. Certain shops are still charging $50 an hour, but you know, if your local dealer, small engine place is also a tractor shop, like sells actual big tractors there, you could be on the hook for, you know, $140 an hour to get small engines worked on. There are places that do it, and at that point, you know, say it's an hour and a half, do all this repair, if the shop even touches it, you're now billed out as a customer for $200 in just the labor. That doesn't count time spent finding the parts, hunting down oddball stuff. Actually, I'm going to leave that linkage on here. This has got to be the ugliest looking carburetor I've ever seen. I mean, what on earth? There's a spacer on there, but I'm going to leave that alone. Can't totally see. It looks like it's open port transfers in here, so not the most performance oriented design. So I think we had an incorrect spark plug, which is to be determined. And some possible issues on fuel delivery. Common on old equipment that sits is the needle sticks. Well, if it's stuck in down position, these carburetors will stick a needle in down position because they're spring loaded down. A bowl carburetor, I don't even know what the correct term for it, but a carburetor with a bowl on it is operated by a float. So when that float sinks down, your needle sticks in the open position. That's what floods crankcases. This diaphragm may not be terrible. I was thinking it felt stiff. Oh, some slime. Look at that. That's that old 16:1 oil fuel mix. This smells just like oil. It does not smell like bad fuel. This one may clean up if the diaphragm holds in place. Oh, I didn't check the pump portion of it. Little flaps flapping. Or the flaps flapping. They are stiff, like super stiff, bad. That is not gonna fly. It's not gonna operate like that. So we need to hunt down a carb kit. Oh, more oddball funkiness. That could probably be reused. Gonna let you see this looks like the thing that they stick in the middle of a pizza, keep the lid from touching the cheese. Sits on here. That needle is probably nasty. And then, you know, we hadn't even touched on whether or not anything nasty is hidden under here. But the needle does appear to be free, but the diaphragms would never let it run. If it did, it would run really lean because it would starve it for fuel. So I have to find a fuel system for this thing as far as lines and O-rings, and then we need to find a carburetor rebuild kit, because I would try to clean this one up. I bet you can't buy that carburetor body anymore. There you go, Mac 130 teardown. If you know anything about them or know where to get parts for them, leave a comment.